not only causes global warming, but it also causes global cooling, which is why whatever happens with the weather, and whether there's a earthquake or a hurricane or whatever, what happens with the weather, it's all related to human-caused emissions, so humans are the problem.
And again, this goes back to 10,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago. Witch doctors saying, give us control of society, give us the best huts, the best temples, the best food, the best women, or the goblin god will eat the sun. Well, the priests were just marking down when there was going to be an eclipse. They knew what it was. The general public didn't. And so now it's suddenly global cooling, and they have at a bunch of stores in Austin. I was at a steakhouse in Denver, and it stunk because they have no flush toilets in the steakhouse. They had special parking spots for low-emission cars. Again, Japan, England, the U.S. want to have stickers on the car that you have to have showing your carbon emission, like yellow stars. I mean, this is social engineering, folks.
It is.
Tell folks, in fact, I forgot to air it. Get that together about the bin police. Mainstream news in England reporting it like it's good. Tattle on your neighbors. See what they're doing. But see, after they get you done spying over trash, then it's what is your neighbor's political views. They always start it with something innocuous on spying, and then it moves on to everything else. Do you have that clip from yesterday? John? John, are you there? John must... Okay, do you have the clip from yesterday? I want to play the rainwater clip. I may go into overdrive today. Do you have the clip about the trash can secret police?
Oh, the neighborhood watch. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, pull it up. Tell me when you got it. Okay, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, we were talking about geoengineering and these radical solutions to solve the problem which doesn't exist. You know, climate change has happened throughout the eons, whether it's heating or cooling, and humans have had very little to do with it in every case. But now, I wrote an article on Monday which just I had to read it very carefully to make sure that what I was reading was actually true, and it was there in the article. But they're now proposing, and this is out of Stanford University, a guy called Professor Stephen Schneider, at a cost of $100 billion a year to the taxpayer. They're proposing to send out a fleet of spaceships and literally park them between the Earth and the Sun to form a giant artificial cloud to block out the Sun. And this is in the Guardian article that I referenced earlier, Geoengineering, the Radical Ideas to Combat Climate Change. And the quote out of it is, scientists have suggested launching a constellation of free-flying craft that would sit between the Sun and the Earth, forming a cylindrical cloud around half the Earth's diameter and 10 times longer. And this, they say, is to block out 2% of sunlight hitting the Earth.
But I thought they said the sun, Al Gore said, had nothing to do with heating.
Oh, yeah, they will say that the sun has little to do with climate change and then that it's CO2 emissions. But all these programs of geoengineering are based around blocking out the sun.
And it all goes back to them playing God. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess that giant blazing ball of light in the sky has got something to do with climate change.
Okay, let's play it. I agree. Let's play a few of these clips. I don't have time to play it all, but here's one clip about the tattletale squads. We now have these here in the U.S. as well. Here it is.
Are you naturally nosy? Do you consider yourself to be a snooper, someone who likes to know what's going on in their street? Then you're wanted, but not for a crime. To uncover those close by who are not as environmentally minded as authorities think they could be. Adverts looking for so-called environment volunteers have been springing up around the country. The resident recruitment drive by councils is for those willing to report anyone who drops litter, fails to recycle rubbish properly, or allows their dogs to foul the streets.
All right.
Critics say it's
and then you also have adverts in every major paper in England for kids to spy on their parents, fill out dossiers on them. You wear red and black uniforms. You're called climate cops. They're going to set that up here as well. They're building the whole Homeland Security apparatus. It's then going to be shifted into every one of you will have a caseworker who visits you weekly. This has all been announced. This will happen. I mean, I'm sorry, you're not coming to my house, you dirty bastards. Stay out of my life. Every control freak, nobody who could ever do anything in their life could never make it. controlling the arts and entertainment, just like East Germany. I mean, it is just going to be hellish. Now, here's another clip out of Utah telling you can't collect rainwater, and then making it sound reasonable at the end of the newscast. Here it is.
Who owns the rain? Turns out, not you. You're actually breaking the law if you try to capture rain falling onto your roof and pour it on your flower bed.
A prominent Utah car dealer found that out when he tried to do something good for the environment.
Okay, stop right there. It's up on Infowars.com and PresentPlanet.com if you want to see it. But the bottom line is it's the same sales tactic. We're doing this for your own good. We're doing this for the earth. He was doing it for the environment, but it wasn't good enough. And at the end, he submitted to them, and they just explained that the government owns you. That's why T. Boone Pickens is grabbing all those area for wind power. It's about the water under it, and it's a big scam. But he tells you it's for the environment. You'll go for it. Paul Watson.
Well, yeah, now you've got a situation in Britain, which I talked about last time I was on about this, where a guy allegedly, and I stress allegedly, because he claims he didn't, but maybe he did, maybe he's evil, allegedly dropped an apple core when he was walking down the street, and he was subsequently pursued by environmental snoops who then called the regular police. He was handcuffed, arrested, and kept in a cell for about 12 hours.
Yeah, this is total tyranny, and if you say the word homosexual, you're arrested in England, BBC reported. Again, hardcore super tyranny in your face. Go ahead, Paul.
And there was another case where a woman and a young child had bought a sausage roll from a food stand, and the mother was feeding it to her daughter, and a tiny piece of the pastry dropped on the floor, and immediately pigeons swooped down and ate it up. But this crime was spotted by an eagle-eyed environmental crimes unit official who came running across the street and demanded the authority to fine this woman for dropping a tiny piece of pastry on the street.
Now again, they're creating the Stasi force out of environmental wackos who don't care about cross-species, genetic engineering, GMO, real crises. It's about maximum enforcement on the general public. You think it's bad with cops everywhere writing you tickets now? 10 times what it was decades ago. It's going to get hundreds of times worse. Every control freak, nobody in your face. We're going to talk behind the scenes in a minute, Paul, for the Infowars.com audio streams. Before we end this segment, come back in the final segment with Aaron with some eugenics quotes that he didn't have in here earlier. I wanted to tell people about a Colo Blue. They tell you can't have the water. They tell you that you can't collect rainwater. They tell you, it's totally legal, and even if it was, they can go to Hades. To go to ecoloblue.com, E-C-O-L-O Blue. There's a big banner up on Infowars.com, ecoloblue.com. Get 7.5 gallons a day out of the atmosphere, out of the air in your own home or out on your porch, and it makes 7.5 gallons. No sodium fluoride, them forcefully medicating you with a chemical weapon. None of that. Give them a call, 866-585-4044, 866-585-4044, ecoloblue.com, 866-585-4044, ecoloblue. You know what? I'll take rainwater out of the sky if I want. You know something? You better drill your wells now. Even in Texas, they're trying to ban having your own well. It'll be grandfathered in. They're coming. The scum. There's no jobs left in America. There's only cop and enforcer and bureaucratic jobs. They're going to go from 3 million cops to 10 million. They've announced it. They're going to run your life. It's going to get bad, folks. You think it's bad now? You ain't seen nothing. All right, let me go.